Hey guys, welcome back to All Things Graft. In today's video, I'm going to give you an overview of the Graft Exchange Broker and explain how they provide near instant cryptocurrency exchanges of various cryptocurrencies within the Graft network. Now, the Graft Exchange Broker plays a very important role within Graft's network because it's the part of the network that allows for the real-time exchange of various cryptocurrencies within the network. Graft Exchange Brokers enable three very important functions within Graft's network. These are the instant acceptance of various cryptocurrencies by merchants at the point of sale, the ability for merchants to receive payout in whatever currency they prefer, either crypto or fiat, and the ability for anyone to exchange one particular cryptocurrency for another in real time. Now, every exchange that is performed by an exchange broker on the Graft network is trustless and automatic, since they require the use of Graft's authorization sample in order to perform the trade. The authorization sample, which is a randomly selected group of 8 supernodes, acts as an arbitrator for each trade, ensuring that funds have either been sent to or sent by a Graft exchange broker. The authorization sample ensures that all exchanges provided by exchange brokers occur in a decentralized manner and charges a small fee of 0.5% for each trade. Now, in the same way that anyone is able to set up and run a Graft supernode, anyone is able to become a Graft exchange broker. The only requirement is that the exchange broker maintain a minimum balance of 50,000 Graft in order to qualify as a broker. Now, anytime the service of an exchange broker is required, the exchange broker can assume any of the following three roles: a pay-in broker, a payout broker, or an interchange broker. Let's explore the role of each of these types of exchange brokers and take a look at how a transaction is processed when utilizing a particular broker. The first type of exchange broker is a pay-in broker. A pay-in broker allows merchants to instantly accept a particular cryptocurrency at the point of sale by quickly exchanging that cryptocurrency into Graft in order for the transaction to be processed within the Graft network. The pay-in broker is the entity on the network that assumes all of the risk associated with the acceptance of a cryptocurrency payment. In exchange for this assumption of risk, the pay-in broker charges the merchant a very small exchange fee of 0.25% at the time of a transaction. Let's take a look at how a payment is processed when a merchant requires the use of a pay-in broker. When a buyer wishes to make a payment using a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, for example, the merchant will first have to select Bitcoin as the method of payment on their Graft point-of-sale app or their Graft-enabled point-of-sale terminal. The transaction request will quickly be sent over to a proxy supernode, which will then select a Bitcoin pay-in broker from a list of available brokers. Once the pay-in broker has been selected, the authorization sample will quickly generate a bond transaction from the pay-in broker in Graft, equal to the amount of payment that will be requested from the buyer in Bitcoin. Once the Graft bond has been put on hold, the merchant's point-of-sale terminal will then display the QR code of the pay-in broker's Bitcoin wallet for the total amount of Bitcoin that must be paid by the buyer. The buyer will then proceed to make the Bitcoin payment using any wallet supporting Bitcoin, which will then trigger the authorization sample to query the Bitcoin blockchain and verify that the transaction has indeed been broadcasted. Once the authorization sample verifies that the Bitcoin transaction is awaiting validation, it sends an approval message to the merchant's point-of-sale terminal and releases the Graft bond to the merchant. The Graft bond is the total amount of payment in Graft minus the pay-in broker fee of 0.25% and the authorization fee of 0.5%, which are both charged to the merchant. Now, it's evident from this example that pay-in brokers assume a certain amount of risk when accepting a cryptocurrency payment without waiting for any confirmations before their staked Graft is released to the merchant. This risk can be mitigated, however, by simply only allowing relatively small retail transactions. Since some cryptocurrencies have much faster confirmation times than others, the pay-in broker can choose to set a higher exchange limit for cryptocurrencies with faster confirmations. Now, the next type of exchange broker is the payout broker. The payout broker allows merchants to quickly exchange Graft into the particular currency the merchant would like to receive as payout. This payout can be made in either the merchant's preferred cryptocurrency or their local fiat currency. Payouts can be made automatically at the time of a transaction or manually anytime a merchant wants to exchange their Graft into a different currency. Like the pay-in broker, the payout broker also charges a small exchange fee of 0.25% at the time of a transaction. Let's take a look at how a payout transaction occurs when the merchant wants to exchange their Graft for a different cryptocurrency. When a merchant wants to receive payout in a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, for example, the merchant will have to make a payout request from their Graft point-of-sale app or their Graft-enabled point-of-sale terminal. The transaction request will quickly be sent over to a proxy supernode, which will then select a Bitcoin payout broker from a list of available brokers. Once the payout broker has been selected, the authorization sample will then quickly generate a bond transaction from the merchant in Graft equal to the amount of payout that is requested by the merchant in Bitcoin. The Graft bond will also include the payout broker's fee of 0.25% and the authorization sample fee of 0.5%, which are both charged to the merchant. Once the Graft bond has been put on hold, the payout broker will then send a Bitcoin transaction to the merchant equal to the amount of Graft that has been placed on hold from the merchant, minus the fees. The authorization sample will then query the Bitcoin blockchain and verify that the merchant has indeed received the requested payout in Bitcoin. Once this has been verified, the authorization sample will then release the Graft bond that's on hold from the merchant to the payout broker, and the transaction is complete. Now, the third and final type of exchange broker is the interchange broker. Interchange brokers are simply pay-in and pay-out brokers that transact with each other in order to allow for the real-time exchange of one particular cryptocurrency for another. Interchange brokers allow two different parties to leverage Graft's second-layer network of supernodes to perform a trustless exchange, also known as an atomic swap, between two different cryptocurrencies other than Graft. Graft pay-in and pay-out broker functions can be extended beyond Graft's intended payment ecosystem and into a real-time decentralized exchange. An exchange transaction between two parties that wanted to exchange, say, Bitcoin and Litecoin, for example, would look something like this. In order for the trade to be executed, both parties would be required to send the funds based on the agreed-upon exchange rate, and the authorization sample would act as the arbitrator, using exchange brokers to perform the exchange while placing holds and querying and validating the transaction on each blockchain. As long as each party holds up their end of the bargain, then each party will receive their payout. Should any party choose not to transfer the agreed-upon funds, the authorization sample will ensure that the other party's funds are sent back automatically. As you can see, the Graft Exchange Broker plays a very important role within Graft's network and is what will allow merchants to instantly accept any cryptocurrency at the point of sale, receive their preferred payout currency, and allow anyone to exchange any major cryptocurrency for another in real time. I hope this video helped you to better understand the Graft Exchange Broker and how they provide near instant cryptocurrency exchanges of various cryptocurrencies within the Graft network. If you liked this video, please hit that like button, share it, and don't forget to subscribe for future videos. Until next time though, this is All Things Graft, signing off.